People hit me up yesterday, Robbie. They're like, you got to get him. Robbie was filling in yesterday, and I got to say, he was filling in solo, basically, because Zac Duarte overslept the show by 2.5 hours.
Wait, Zac overslept? How do you sleep? But his alarm didn't go off, obviously.
He said he just, I guess his explanation.
He forgot he was doing the show.
His explanation was he forgot?
Oh, wow, that's not a good one.
He forgot?
At that point, you do make up. I teach my kids to be honest, but at that point, you lie. Just make up an excuse.
He forgot.
I hit it. I didn't. My iPhone didn't go off. The alarm, whatever it is.
You know, Duarte, not for nothing, but you're quite the guy who will hose down every athlete in town if they don't do their job. And, you know, I'm not going to say any names, but, you know, he's a certain Russian goalie who, like, you know, if he sneezes the wrong way, you're hosing him down on Twitter. But Bobrovsky never misses a game that he's supposed to start in. I'm just saying.
He shows up in physical body.
Yeah,
maybe
he's
sometimes
there.
not in mind.
He'll allow pucks.
Yes, they'll go through his legs, but he will be there.
He'll be there.
And on time.
Right.
When the puck drops and then goes
just,
through
you know,
his legs.
interesting. You know, I see you hose down the Miami Heat a lot when they lose to a trash team. Imagine if the Heat had Twitter and they decided to just pick on you because you didn't show up on time for a fill-in role in morning drive. Interesting.
You'd be surprised how many guys. I'm not going to say with the Heat, but you'd be surprised how many guys have their name searched, sent to them, so they know when people are talking about them. You would be surprised. I'm not going to say names, and I'm not going to say they're Heat players. I'm just going to say you'd be surprised.
I see many likes of petty things on Twitter from the. My favorite thing now is because you know I used to not be able to see like when they put such and such like this tweet. I always like that because you can see, I'm keeping record of you saying that thing.
Keeping tabs. I tell guys, don't do that. Don't look at because we know social media is 80% negative. It seems like.
Right.
And how negative was it the last week? My God, I couldn't be on it. As much as I enjoy chatting Heat, I couldn't even be on it because people were so miserable. This team's done. This team's toast.
It is. Look, it's a soft fan base when it comes to social media. Like we have a bad quarter and everybody's melting down.
Yeah.
You know?
Trust me, I'm a fan. I'm not going to lie. I was worried when they lost 4 or 5 because of the way they were losing. Not because it happened, because you know those slumps come, but they just didn't look anything like the team we saw early in the season. And now finally, the last 3, it's trended up. And then last night, we saw the team we saw for the majority of the first 40+ games.
Yeah, and it just felt like I don't know if it was everybody trying to get used to one another. Obviously, you got to take into account that Jimmy missed a handful of games in there for injuries and for personal reasons. So that is a big reason why in a 9-game stretch you're not going to win a ton of games. But, you know, like, look, this has been a team where, you know, they were putting in some of the, you know, Barry Jackson put some of the clutch numbers and not having a guy like Tyler Hero, even as young as he is, he's been very important for them. Myers Leonard, you know, getting used to not playing with him, even if he doesn't put up the wow numbers.
Well, the communication, you can't. How many guys have said in the last week and a half that our communication isn't there? I'm sorry, who communicates better than Myers Leonard?
No, you hear it throughout the arena.
Exactly.
Listen. He's out there, and he's got that big voice, and it's impossible to miss. But I thought the other thing too was, look, I don't have these grand illusions of this team is the most talented team in the East. I know that they have somewhat overachieved, and I think overachieving, in the NBA, a lot of that has to do with cohesion and playing well together. And they just weren't used to it, you know, this whole group together. And I think you're starting to see all that kind of come together now. And I think a win like last night, you know, Jimmy's talked about the entire year about having that defensive effort throughout, the capabilities. And their 2 best players are really good defenders in him and Bam. But the rest of the roster, you're looking at, you're like, who do I really trust
Derek
to close this thing out?
has his moments, and Andre is obviously known for that. And other, you know, Jay Crowder is an addition. You've seen it, but again, it's usually those 2 and then a half of someone else or some, you know. And it's too much mixing and matching to really have success to close out games, and they haven't been able to. So the fact that you saw some of that energy, and it comes down to that, it's just energy, it's just effort. I mean, and you can't have it for 82 games. You just can't. It's impossible. But you can kind of bottle that and understand what it takes, because come playoff time, to win any playoff game, you need that energy. I mean, there's just no way. You're not going to be good teams without that energy.
So, obviously, everybody had all eyes on Giannis yesterday. I was a little disgusted. I got to be honest with you. I walked into the building, a lot of green in the American Airlines Arena, and I'm like, hold on, bro. Let me get this straight.
People love Antetokounmpo.
Let me get this straight. You're all from Milwaukee? Like, what the hell just happened here? Because I get it with Steph Curry. Steph Curry is one of the most popular players in the league. People like watching him shoot. And I saw plenty of those jerseys with these 7, 8, and 9-year-olds waltzing around here jumping on bandwagons. You're all terrible parents, by the way. And I walk in here, and then holy hell, all these kids have swapped out for Milwaukee Bucks jerseys. Robbie, it was disgusting. All over the place.
There were a lot of
God, there was a lot
of jerseys, and they were all mostly 15 and under kids.
He got the biggest pop of the intros. I was disgusted. It was Knicks fan behavior, like where you go out there and you're like, "Oh, star, please come in." No. They come to us. They fix their careers in Miami. You don't go out there and you grovel for the star. I didn't like it.
Maybe it's the little reverse psychology.
Nah,
like, hey, Giannis, we notice you and love you in Miami already. Look at the cheers you get even when you're not on our side.
Everybody notices. And I didn't like the fact that he got a bigger pop than Jimmy or got a bigger pop than Bam. You go out there, you support your own guys. Not to mention you had all these bandwagon jumpers from the get-go also. Because... all right, I saw one dude. I met him yesterday. He's a listener of our show, Joe.
Okay.
Joe was wearing a Bucks jersey.
Why?
My immediate thing is, all right. But respect to Joe, it was a Jabari Parker jersey. So I was like, all right, legit Bucks fan. I don't like the fact that you're wearing it at the American Airlines Arena, but I know that you're not just hopping on some bandwagon. But Miami bro, who's out there, got the tats out, Robbie, and you could just tell he's got the nice South Beach tan. He's got the Cream City edition.
That's those bro jerseys.
Milwaukee's Bucks jersey.
That one he just got last week.
That still has the tags on it.
Yeah, that just came in the mail.
No. They can all go to hell, and so can you parents who bought your kids Milwaukee Bucks jerseys. Do the right thing. Go get your kid a Bam Adebayo jersey, all right?
Heck yeah.
All right, a Jimmy Butler jersey. Go do that. Go down to the Heat store. Get yourself a Vice Wave jersey. They're all the rage right now. Trust me.
Get that Bam jersey, because how impressive was he last night with the double-double? Given how not impressive he was offensively for the first 2.5, 3 quarters.
Look, that's the other thing. He's talked so much this year about, I wasn't expecting this. I think he had confidence in his ability, but he wasn't expecting the uptick in responsibility to come this fast. So it is one thing to go out there and you have all the responsibility and you're getting a chance to put up numbers. But when you have those struggle nights, we've seen that sometimes the bad offense, not necessarily with him, but with this team, can dictate onto the other side. And he was missing a lot of bunnies yesterday, a lot of in and outs. Didn't let him affect it at all.
Yeah, and I love that about him because he has an incredible confidence about him. I've seen it grow more in just the last year alone. In the 3 years, you look at the steps of progress when he came in and he was finding his role and trying to find his time. And I say this story only because it just shows you the step that he's taken in confidence. Bam is always kind of you've talked to him plenty. He's a very quiet, humble guy in a way, but he's sort of in the last 6 months or so of the course of the season really opened up to see like, man, I'm damn good. Like it's okay to be confident and show it. And I saw him after the All-Star break and I said to him, I hadn't seen him, I said, hey, Bam, congratulations on winning the skills competition. And we chatted for a second. And I jokingly and half seriously said, I'll be honest with you, you surprised me a bit. That you won the skills. I mean, you made it look so easy. He's like, have you not been seeing the triple doubles I've been getting? and he said it with such a confidence look. And I said, damn, Bam, you go, man. I like that attitude.
He also, I think, takes losses probably the hardest on the team. Because Jimmy's been there, done that. Like Jimmy will show stuff. Jimmy will be pissed off after wins. He'll be like, I didn't like the way we won. Yeah. But
Bam, he's a veteran, and he's been through this grind many times.
Bam will be like, for example, he's normally like one of the first guys to probably get ready and get the hell out of there. Never beats Jimmy. And after that Bucks loss, he was gone, dude. Like, he was taking forever. You knew he took that loss hard.
Yeah.
After where he said the night before or a couple nights before, he was like, it can't get worse than this against the Cavs. It got worse. So he genuinely he cares about it a lot. And I think that's why you have all the faces of the franchise saying they think he's going to be a face of the franchise.
Yeah, I think he's becoming that. I think Jimmy and those guys are okay with that. He's their guy. I will say this. I guess it doesn't matter in the big scheme of things because all that matters is being fine-tuned and playing the best that you can in the playoffs. But it does make you wonder, how the hell did the Heat lose to the Cavs and the T-Wolves? How did they lose into the Hawks and those games that they lost? Not that you want to go back and say, if they win this, they could be the 2 seed or 3. It's not about that. It's just about level of play. How in the world did they play so poorly, especially late in the fourth quarters against those teams? You hope you don't see those games again because it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's not going to be surprising to me if we see on Wednesday a team that's just not as locked in against the Orlando Magic.
It's
just
natural.
Is what it is. But you just hope that you have the talent where you're like, all right, let's not allow this team to go on a hot run, and we can lock it up. I think that's the important thing, is closing out the games. So yesterday in the locker room, Greek Freak,
I haven't heard this, by the way. I'm looking forward to this.
Humbled by the Miami Heat. Was asked straight out the gate. First question by Milwaukee's Fox affiliate, and was asked about Bam Adebayo and what he was able to do on him, and the experience that he's had with him, obviously playing with him in the All-Star game. And here's what Greek Freak had to say.
A lot of energy coming from you. Bam, run the floor. He plays hard. You always respect him. You respect his toughness. It was a great experience having him in my team in the All-Star game. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Damn.
Just sign it up now, Will. He is smitten. He's like, he's the only guy who can guard me in the league. I gotta play with him.
They do have the same agent, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So there's a friendship and bond there from a professional and business aspect.
Yep.
But I think that's genuine. I think people around the league, players meaning, I guess, and coaches too, but players probably have a better understanding of how good Bam is, more so than fan bases around the league.
I agree.
Because fan bases look and say, "What? He's averaging 16 points a game. Who cares?" But they don't look within the stats and within the effort.
Yeah, and I was up late last night, so I don't really know what the big NBA story was last night. I can see right now and Get Up, they're talking about, they're talking about the Rockets getting out-rebounded.
They lost to the Knicks last night.
But I gotta think that the Heat beating the Bucks, how many losses do the Bucks have this year?
9 losses, 2 to the Heat.
Yeah, so I gotta think that the Heat are gonna get some national shine, and I don't know how you give the Heat any national shine without talking about the job that Bam did on Giannis, especially in that second half.
Yeah, and I think that's where people recognize they just can't look at stats. Again, Bam did not shoot well. If you just go on Bam's stat line and look and say, "Oh, okay, he had 14 points," but he only was. Robbie, what was his final stat line? He didn't shoot well last night.
14, 13, 5, and had a steal and 3 blocks.
Yes, so the overall stat, but he's shooting, as you mentioned, he missed a couple bunnies, he missed a couple good looks, but overall his efforts, stuff that you can't gauge in a box score, the way that he defended, the way that he never stopped, he never let his offensive game early struggles get to him defensively. Those are things you can't measure statistically, and those are things that NBA players, i.e. Giannis, recognize when they see Bam play.
Can I get a little bit more of Giannis yesterday, Robbie, where he's talking about he kept praising Miami a lot, and talked a couple times about it. We're going to see them again, and that they got to be better if they face Miami in the playoffs. And here's a little bit more Greek Freak on that.
We haven't lost a lot this year, so I really don't remember how I handle us losing. But at the end of the day, my teammates are looking at me, and obviously I gotta keep my confidence, high. And at the end of the day, you're going to win some games, you're going to lose some games. We're not going to go 82-0. And Miami is a great team. They came out to play really, really hard tonight, and we're definitely going to play them again. At some point, we just got to play better and play hard.
Now, they are definitely going to play them again.
They have 1 game left in the schedule, right?
But I kind of felt like he was almost insisting, I feel like we're going to see this team again in the playoffs.
Yeah, and look, the way it lines up, it would be, a second-round matchup, the way it lines up now, unless the Heat sneak into that 2 or 3 spot.
Or fall back to 6.
Or fall back to, which
why you got to go that way, Bobby?
We got to lay out all scenarios.
By the way, speaking of scenarios, the Sixers have been struggling so much. Did you see who jumped into the 5 now? The Pacers are the 5 team now.
Yeah, Pacers are breathing down their necks.
Yeah, they're Pacers are the 5
Heat's
team.
next too. They're not that far from Miami.
Yeah, they're 2 back, I think. I believe they're 2 back. So, there's definitely a lot to be determined in these last 21 games. But I think you're right. I think Giannis knows, look, these are the teams that could give us trouble in the playoffs. They still, as good as the Bucks have been, 52-9. They're incredible. They're on a historic pace. Giannis knows they haven't had playoff success yet. And for him to be that next level, and he's already the MVP, he's already one of the best players in the league, but for him to get that shine of being a special winning player, you hear it in his voice. He knows he's got to win championships. He's got to take those next steps. And to take those next steps, you've got to win series against teams like the Heat that you'll face in the postseason. And these teams will give you everything they got for 6-7 games.
All right, when we come back, I want to get into a little bit of the first day of Miami Hurricanes spring practice. The coach, Manny Diaz, talking about his new offensive coordinator, Rhett Lashley. He was loud out there. We'll get to that next.